Hi, my name is Rachel Withers, and I'm a realtor with the Jim Allen Group in Raleigh, North Carolina, of Caldwell Banker, Howard Perry, and Walston. And today on our podcast of Keeping It Real in NC, we are talking about why now is a good time to buy. What I usually talk to my buyers about really it's any time is a really good time to buy when you're financially in that position to buy. So you don't want to give up that time. But what I am seeing currently in the market for buyers is that there is more inventory, which is a great thing because then you can find exactly what you're looking for. And don't wear out your realtors when I say that. But it's also great for negotiating. While there's more inventory, there's less competition. So when you go into a house and do your home inspection, you probably have more ways to negotiate repairs, closing costs, to buy down that interest rate if that's something that's concerning you. And also, you can get other things that you need in the house. So, and then also, if you go into a house and maybe it's not exactly what you're looking for, but it can be easily fixed, like cosmetic updates, that's something else you can negotiate. You can ask for money for painting, or you can ask them to have their handyman paint the house for you. So there's a lot of different options out there for buyers right now, and I feel like it's a really good time to buy. What do you think, Bob?
I always think it's a great time to buy because, I am anti-rent. So the only thing I like about rent is when I'm a landlord. And when I'm on the landlord side of it, I love that. But as a consumer, as a buyer, yeah, it's always a good time to buy. This might be a repeat performance. And you brought up something, Rachel, that I think is very, very important. Inventory now is opening up. We see inventory opening up. And when inventory opens up, the demand changes, so I would much rather see our buyers have an opportunity to look at 5 or 6 houses as opposed to looking at one. So it puts a buyer in a much better place in terms of opportunities. But, I'm going to do a repeat performance if it's okay with you ladies, because, we kind of talked about this in a podcast we made last week. And being a virtual guy, I did this little research thing. And if you had bought a house 5 years ago in my market, which is coastal North Carolina, southeastern coast of North Carolina, if you had bought a house at the average sale price 5 years ago, so this is May of 21. Okay. We don't have our June data yet, but our May data revealed that if you had bought a house in May of 2021, you would have paid $395,000 for it. So I've got my flashcards out here for the visual. $395,000. A
Wow.
short 5 years later, May of 26, if you had bought that same house, average sale price, that house would have cost you almost $537,000. Okay.
Mhm.
So that, just put it in simple math. Over that 5-year span, you would have had a realized gain of $141,000 in gain over a 5-year period. And this is a formula that's been repeating itself for decades. But here's the best part. The return on the investment for all of you people that are really, really finance frenzy type people, 35.5% return on your investment over 5 years when you've got to have a roof over your head anyway. And let's remind each other, when you're paying rent, your interest rate is 100%. I know today our rates are about 6.5%, arguable. I believe that we're still seeing interest rates that are cheap money, but 6.5% interest rate on traditional purchase right now, still a 35.5% return. So when anybody asks me, is it a great time to buy? Every day is a great time to buy.
What are you seeing, Missy?
I think it's the perfect time to buy because if you like wasting money, then stay where you're at. Really. Think about it. If you're renting, you're not building equity. You're just handing Bob, the landlord, your money. So if you're ready to buy, I think it's perfect opportunity. The inventory is up. We've got plenty of homes open up. And it's just a perfect time for a buyer to purchase a home right now. Because if they wait, then prices are just going to keep either going up and up and up. And why not get there now? So, in another couple of years, you'll have, like Bob said, that equity already built into that home, and you could potentially sell that home for more than what you paid for it. So to me, it's just a no brainer. I like my money and I don't want to give it to somebody like Bob, who is a landlord. So why not and the way rent is, what you're paying in rent could easily be a house payment right now. And there's so many loan programs out there, especially for first time home buyers. So it's the perfect time. Either, if you've been a homeowner before, there's programs out there, loan programs that you could easily fit into. If you're a first time home buyer, I know there's a lot. I mean, it's like an open door of programs that's available. So I think it's the perfect time.
I agree.
Well, I'm Jennifer, and the reason why I think it's a perfect time to buy is because you have to have a roof over your head either way. So why not be purchasing the roof that is over your head rather than paying 100%, like you said, Bob, to a landlord. So that's my 2 cents on that. But the reason why I think it's a great time to buy right now is because you've got more negotiating power right now, sort of what you brought up, Rachel. But also to that point, one of the biggest reason why I hear people say I don't want to buy right now is because they're either scared of the economic conditions or they don't like the interest rate. But here's what's happening. While we're waiting for everything to be perfect, those home prices are continuing to rise, just like Misty said. So you may get to a point like where instead of the interest rate being 6.5%, maybe at 6%, maybe we get lucky and it goes there. But during that time, your house price rose. So did you really save any money on your monthly payment? No. To my other point, if you're waiting for all the economic conditions to be perfect, maybe you want a different president in the White House. Maybe, you want the job situation in the United States to be different. I don't know what it is. There's all kinds of things that people worry about that are beyond their control. But you've got to have a roof over your head either way. So why not be buying it? Because here's the deal. If you lose your job and you can't pay your rent or your mortgage, guess what? You're going to get kicked out either way. Okay. And that's, of course, worst case scenario. So I've never really understood the fear of, not wanting to buy because all the economic conditions are not right. The last thing that I'm going to bring up is now's a great time because with new construction, builders have so many incentives out there right now.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I hear about all the, like a normal one I hear quite a bit. It's 15,000, use as you choose. So you can use that 15,000 to lower your interest rate, especially if that's what you're concerned about. You can use that $15,000 towards closing costs. So it's a fantastic time with all of the incentives that are out there. And I would encourage you, if the four of us are not somewhere in your area, whatever realtor you are working with, tell them, hey, tell me what these builders are offering right now and just see, because you can probably make it work for you.
Without a
And that's
doubt.
my
You
2
you
cents.
touched on something, Jennifer. Market conditions always are moving. I mean, they go up, they go down. And, let's think about 2.5 years ago, when there was no inventory, multiple offer situations, put buyers in bad positions because they didn't have inventory to look at. They were pigeonholed. Rachel brought up, negotiating repairs or some upgrades. That was stuff that we weren't really seeing, Rachel, right? Two and a half years ago. Now, the market has swung to a buyer's opportunity. And when that happens, when interest rates start coming down, guess what happens to that inventory? It starts shrinking. More buyers come into the market. Ultimately, the law of supply and demand elevates the prices. So, Misty said it as clear as you could say it. It's a good time to buy it. And that's why I always say it's kind of always a good time to buy, Jennifer. The way you framed it was very, very clear cut. You always need to have a roof over your head. Unless you plan on living in a van by the river, you're pretty much going to need a roof over your head. Why not put it toward a mortgage payment if you can?
And I would have to agree with Jennifer with the builders out there. Even though you're getting those great incentives, I would also encourage you to talk to your realtor about negotiating on the price too. These builders have inventory and they want to get them off their books. So try negotiating the price. They're open to it.
That's right.
And one thing I've noticed is a lot of the listings that are out there right now, if you've watched, I mean, it may not happen right away, but the prices are starting to come down. I mean, the listings, the sellers are bringing the prices down just a little bit. So, that's a great opportunity for a buyer to get in touch with one of us and go view the home and see and explore if this is the right time for them. But like Bob said, now it's always a good time to buy. So
I have noticed, I don't know about you guys, but I've noticed it in my immediate market on the coast. Sellers are a little bit more open to negotiating than they were 6 months ago.
Absolutely.
And that's, they're not standing as firm on their price as they were 6-8 months ago. So that's refreshing to me. That's a normalized market, and we're hovering around 86 days on market. When sellers start hitting that 100-day point on the market, they're a little bit more open. They talk a little more, which is great for a consumer.
Absolutely.
Good topic.
Yes, very good. And as you see that our podcast group here, we have located in different areas of North Carolina. But if you're watching from an area that is not where we represent, we have connections with people all over the U.S. So reach out to any of us to refer you to an agent near you.
That's right.
Awesome, Rachel. Thank you for that. Yeah, we can cover, we can help anybody anywhere pretty much,
Great.
Well, Rachel,
thank you.
thanks so much. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but thank you so much for hosting today. And to our viewers, thank you so much for taking the time to watch our podcast. We hope that you find it helpful and informative. If you've got questions, drop them in our comments below. If you've got something that you want us to talk about specifically, we're always glad to talk because the four of us are talking all the time. And we would love to share whatever it is that you have on your mind. And like and subscribe, keeping it real in North Carolina.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks for
Take care,
joining.
everybody.
Bye.